Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it on this very first Sunday Night Live of 2020. 2020 vision, people. 2020 vision. We want clarity. We want focus. We want results. It's going to be a great year. Yay! Pam is the first one in the pool. Thank you for being here, Pam. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you who are jumping on. Margaret, hello. Happy New Year to everybody. I am so delighted to be here to share with you ways to thrive in change. And tonight we're going to be talking about the change we want. Sarah, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Thanks for being with us on Sunday Night Live. Daniel, glad you're here. Was so good to see you this morning. Gosh, Daniel's a student getting ready to graduate. Julie, yay! So glad you're jumping on. You guys, this is amazing. What a great start to a new decade. Shelly, mwah, glad you're here. I am so glad that you're taking this opportunity to start your year off with something that's going to feed your soul, give you something to think about, something to mull over. Albert, I'm glad you're here. Gosh, you guys, this is fantastic. While people are jumping on, Nina, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. So while people are jumping on, I want to share two things. First one is I have a leadership mastermind starting this Saturday, and the topic is dealing with difficult people. So if you're a person who wants to expand your influence, whether you are an official leader with a title and a badge, or maybe you're just a person who wants to change the world around you for the better, this is a perfect place for you to get some great skills and tools to help you deal with difficult people. Also, to sharpen your saw with others who are like-minded, who have experience, who want to learn, want to grow, and who bring sometimes years of expertise as leaders into that mastermind. If you're interested in learning how to deal with difficult people, you can check out the event on my Thrive and Change page, and I'll also be posting it on my feed here on the personal side, and also I'll post it in the comments. So thank you everybody for jumping on. The second thing I want to let you know is every time you share one of these Sunday Night Live videos, it feeds my soul. It makes me so happy to think that something that I'm sharing has added value to you, and you want it to add value to the people in your circle, because that's how our influence grows. That's how we make change for the better, by taking the things that have helped us and sharing them with the people we care about. And because you are a trusted friend, they'll listen to what you have to say, and that's how our influence grows. So when you share these videos, I thank you, first of all, from the bottom of my heart. And second of all, if you would include in the caption before you send it off, just type in, what did you love about the video? What jumped out to you about that week's teaching? And when you include that, you give your friends and the people who see your post something that they can think about, gives them something that they can explore, and sometimes even a great conversation. So that's awesome. If you can do that when you share, your friends are going to get more out of it. You are going to be doing them a big favor, and you are going to be helping me to get the word out that it is possible to thrive in change. All right, so Mary, I'm glad you're here. Debbie McDonald, thanks for jumping in. We are going to get started talking tonight about this dilemma that we so often experience, and it is this. We say we want change, but then nothing changes. Why is that? Why is it that we truly believe that we want things to be different, and yet we find ourselves months and months down the road looking around and saying, it's still the same. It can be so frustrating. So we're going to talk tonight about some of the reasons why things aren't changing. When you really want a change to happen, there is one thing and one thing only that is going to make it work. It is this. You can write it down. Mary is taking notes, so write this down in big letters. Action. A-C-T-I-O-N. Action. Action is what brings change. Now, you know I am a fan of mindset. And Jackie, I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. I am a huge fan of mindset. I believe that the way we think creates the actions that we put in place that then create the results that we see in our life. When we look around at our lives, the things that we like about them, the things that we don't, they are a result of our thinking that has translated into actions that has brought results into our life. So thinking is 100% important. It's critical. How we thinks is how we thinks. How we thinks is how we are. I sound like Yoda. No, that wouldn't be Yoda. That would be the one from The Hobbit, Gollum. Anyway, I'm not Gollum from The Hobbit. So how we think in our heart is how we are. It's because of the actions that we take from those thoughts. The action is what brings the results. Say it with me. Action brings results. Action brings results. So if we look around in 6 months, June of 2020, and we say, yep, everybody's still the same. Everything's still the same. Nothing's different. I'm still stuck. I'm still in the same place. I'm here to tell you there is one reason and one reason only why nothing is different, and that is because of you. Or, in my case, because of me. Susan, I'm glad you're here. If we look around and we have not seen change in our life that we wanted to see, it is because we did not act. I worked with a fantastic facilitator years ago in the Postal Service, and she had this great little saying, and if you want, of course nobody can see you, you can only see me, but she would snap her fingers like this and she would say, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got. That's true. It was like a rap before rap was cool. If you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got. It's true. If we aren't seeing change that we want desperately in our lives happen, it is because we are not changing our actions. We are doing the same thing over and over and over. Tyrese, I'm glad you're here. So now is the time. This is the day that you can take a look at your life and see, what is it that prevents me from taking action? What prevents me from taking action? Get ahead of it. I don't want to be here in June and see sad faces and see tears. I want to see people. I want to share with people who have actually made change that they wanted to see happen. I want to rejoice with you. And if you don't quite hit the mark, I am here to help you. Believe me, I'm not going to cut you off. But my heart is that you succeed and get the change you say you want. But if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. So, what are the things that prevent us from taking action? What are the things? The first one is this. We tell ourselves it's someone else's job to take action. We hand over our power to fill in the blank. So, you know where I fall on this. You can guess before I even tell you. The person who's in charge of you taking action is you. It's me. I own my actions. I can't blame somebody for me not taking action if I want to have the positive change I say I want come to pass in my life. We tell ourselves it's someone else's job to take action for me to get the change that I say I want. I'll give you an example. People who don't go back to school because their work won't pay for it. Now think about that. somebody, and I know I'm talking to some of you have had in your heart, you want to go back to school. You want to learn a new skill. You want to get better, get more education, get really great at what you know you love to do. And the thing that you are blaming for you not taking action on that is that you think your work should pay for it. No, no, no. You own your growth. You own it. It is nobody's responsibility but yours, but mine. It is not my boss's job to pay for me to go get schooling, education, or skills. If I want to go somewhere in this life, if I want positive change, I have to take ownership of it and not wait for somebody else to assume the responsibility. Pam, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. All right. A lot of times we tell ourselves it's not my job to take action because maybe our boss didn't ask for it. Our boss didn't ask, so they must not want it. And I'm loving the thumbs up from Margaret. Right? We say, you know what? My boss didn't want me to do it. She didn't ask for it, so I guess I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to dig in. I'm not going to try and improve things, make things better because the boss didn't ask for it. Nobody told me they wanted me to use my talent for that. Nobody said they wanted somebody to sing at the banquet. Well, guess what? Other people will never, ever take action that get you where you want to be. You have to own it. So when we tell ourselves it's somebody else's job to take action, we have built in our failure to change. We have built in our failure to change. The first thing that we can do to make sure that we take the action we need to take to get where we want to be is to own it 100%. It is on me to find the way, find the funding, ask the questions, make the connections, put my talent into the ring. Right? I own it. You own it. If you want a positive change in your life, start now and say, I own it. It's on me. I can't wait to be picked. I can't wait for somebody to give me permission to do something good. Take action and start doing good now. It's nobody's job but yours. Don't blame other people for it. And Samantha, I'm glad you're here. My niece, mwah, good to see you. Yes, and Carol's chiming in. Find a way. Find a way. That's on us. Nobody said that the change we want is going to be easy. In fact, John Maxwell, my mentor, my friend, says this time and time again. All good change happens from uphill habits. Uphill habits are what make us successful. We own those actions. Uphill, trudge, trudge, trudge. Find a way. There is a way. There is a way. Don't wait for someone else to take action to get the change you say you want in your life. It's up to you. Michelle says this. Oh, she's replying to Carol. She says, we have the power, but we often don't realize it. I love the statement, own your growth. Amen, Michelle. When I learned to own my growth, everything changed. I'm not coming at you from this place of superiority when I'm talking about these things. I spent many years saying, as I worked at the Postal Service, I spent many years saying, you know what? If they want me to learn it, they'll send me. They'll send me to training. Never realizing how much of my potential I was giving away because I refused to take action for what I wanted. And then when I finally decided what I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to teach people to lead with principles. And I wanted to do what I loved for people who care. When I made that decision, the next thing I did was took action. After years of waiting to be picked, I took action for my growth and my future, and I enrolled in a class to learn how to be a better coach and a trainer. And that changed everything. That action of me owning my next step changed my trajectory and didn't just change where I went. Martha and Bobby, I'm so glad you're here. Me deciding to own my growth didn't just change my trajectory, it changed the way people were interacting with me. You will see a change when you take action and own what you want. All right, the next thing is we always think we need just one more thing. We always think we need just one more thing. I read this survey years and years ago, and it has never left me. It has been powerful. And it was a survey of women of a healthy weight. So they took thousands of women who had a healthy weight, and they asked them if they thought what weight did they think they'd need to be happy. So I'm going to paint the picture. There's thousands of women who are all of a healthy weight. The doctor says, you know what, you are healthy, you are great. And the survey asks these women, how much do you want to weigh till you're happy with your appearance? And they discovered that every one of those women, well, not everyone, statistically, almost every one of those women said that if they could lose just 5 more pounds, they'd be happy. They were already healthy, but if they could just lose 5 more pounds, then they'd be happy. And what they discovered was it didn't matter if these women were at the top end of healthy or at the low end of healthy. Everybody thought their happiness was just 5 pounds away. It's always just a little bit more. Dawn, I'm glad you're here, and it's okay you're late. That never matters. I'm so glad you jumped in. And Brian Patterson, good to see you. We are talking about the things that prevent us from taking action, and action is what brings the change that we say we want. If we don't take action, we'll never get the change we say we want. The first thing we talked about is that we think somebody else's job is to take action on our behalf. The thing we're talking about now is we always need just a little bit more. I just will lose 5 more pounds and then I'll be happy. And then it's 5 more. And we're never satisfied. It was a picture to me of how we so often live our lives. How I had lived my life, always thinking, if only I were 5 pounds thinner, I'd look perfect. I'm here to tell you, it's not about 5 pounds more. We're always thinking, if I had just a little bit more money, I'd sign up for that training course, right? If I had just a little more money, if I had just a little more time, we always need just a little bit more. This is an excuse that we convince ourselves is a reason. I don't have quite enough. I need just a little bit more. See, we're no dummies. We know that we'd never buy it if we told ourselves, I need $1 million before I can go back to school, right? Pam's smiling. We never ever tell ourselves, I would need $2 million before I can learn to be a coach, or I need to have another 40 hours free time before I can study or join a support group or go swimming or exercise, right? We don't tell ourselves that because we don't know. That's baloney. We tell ourselves, if I had just a little bit more, the effect is the same. The effect is the same. I am here to tell you with my whole heart, you have everything you need right now to do the next thing that you need to do. Cassandra, I'm glad you're here. Kayla, so glad you're here from freezing cold Alaska. I think you guys are here just in time to hear this very, very important statement. You have everything you need right now to do everything you need to do. The next thing is all you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about in 20 years if you're going to be a rocket scientist. The only thing you have to worry about right now is what's the next step you need to take. For some of you, whatever your dream is, for some of you, that's to go and have a conversation with a guidance counselor at college. For some of you, that's to go and have a conversation with your spouse where you say, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to look at doing. Will you work with me on it? Some of us think we need just a little bit more before we can take action toward our dream, and that is not true. We have everything we need right now to do the next thing we need to do. When we tell ourselves it's always tomorrow, it's always when I have a little bit more time, but we don't get more time. And we'll be sitting here in June if we are not careful and intentional, and we will be saying, I wanted things to be different, and they're the same. They don't have to be. If you take action, don't give your power to act away to anybody else. Do not tell yourself the lie that says, I don't have what I need right now to get started. You have everything you need right now to do everything you need to do next. And that's all you have to worry about. The next step. Action. Take a step. The remarkable thing about action is once you take it, fear dissipates. Hear me. If fear is holding you back, Pam, that's crazy. This is so good. Oh, it's hitting home, isn't it? Well, that's all right. Let it hit home, Pam. Let it sink in, and then take the next step. Just one step, and then just one more. Once you take the first step, the next one becomes easier. Once you're moving, it's easier to stay moving. It's the law of inertia. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. I'm like a physicist here. It's the only science I know. Well, I know a little bit of brain science too, but science isn't my strong suit. But I do remember the law of inertia. And I love the law of inertia because it applies to our lives. It's not just objects, my friend. It's us. It's us. It's our pursuit of better things in our life. Once we're in motion, we tend to stay in motion. And once we are stopped, we tend to stay stopped. Unless something intervenes. I'm here to intervene, my friend. This is your intervention, your January 5th, 2020 intervention. I'm here to tell you, I'm giving you the push, and I'm glad you're here. And Pamela, yes, woot woot, rejoice, good is on the way. I am here to give you the push you need to take action. And once you get started, it will be so much easier to take the next step, I promise. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. You can tell yourself that you need a little bit more before you get started, and you will be stuck. If you will believe what I'm telling you, you have everything you need right now to do the next thing you need to do. You are going to start a cascade of actions that is going to bring the change that you want to see happen. All right, on to number 3. I was talking with a new business owner, and he had just bought a retail establishment probably 8 or 9 months before, and he was struggling to make it. He didn't have foot traffic coming. There were some really challenging things that he was up against, and he wasn't making it. His business was slowly going under. And he was talking to me about the state of his business and telling me it was such a struggle. And so I asked him this question: what's one thing, the one thing that would improve your business if you could change it? And without even thinking, he spewed out the answer: location. I said, really? Tell me more. He goes, oh yeah, the location is not great. He said, the location isn't great, and so I don't get the foot traffic, and because I don't get the foot traffic, I don't have the sales. He said, I really need a different location. So my next question was this: so when are you moving? And this is what he told me. Oh, I can't. I can't move because And then he listed all of the reasons why he can't move. Have you ever seen a straitjacket? It's this device, usually it's white, and it's got these really long sleeves, and then they can wrap the sleeves around like this so that a person can't move their arms, and they use it when people are trying to hurt themselves or others. And they put them in this straitjacket, and they can't move. They can't do anything. They can't act. We build ourselves straitjackets. We tie ourselves up into knots, telling ourselves, well, you know, that would be good, but I can't because. And then the list. This man had a list a mile long of reasons why he couldn't move his business. But he told me at the start of our conversation that his business was dying, and if he didn't move, it would be dead. He pretty much locked himself into a bankruptcy because he refused to acknowledge that there may be alternatives. You have potentially, perhaps, told yourself, I can't start a business because I'm a mom, I'm a single parent, I have a career with good benefits, I don't have any capital to get me started. I would love to start my own business. I would love to start a support group for people with kids in college. I would love to run for public office. There are so many great things that each of us independent love and are excited about and could get enthused about. And then we follow that up with saying, but I can't because. Oh, I can't because hamstrings us, puts us in a straitjacket. It puts our focus on the thing where our focus does not need to be if we want positive change. Where our focus goes, our energy flows. When we say, oh, I can't do it because, and we list our excuses, perhaps they're reasons. I'll give you that. I'm not going to say every reason is an excuse. I think that it's important to look at our situation and say, the timing isn't right for this, potentially, but we're looking at it with an eye toward when would be a good time. How could this be more workable? Not with that, well, I can't do it because blah, 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 blah. Where our focus goes, our energy flows. When we build the case for why we can't change, we will never act. Start building your case for the change you want. Use this question. Whenever you hear yourself say, oh, I can't because, I want you to say this instead. What would it take for this to happen? What would it take for me to reach my goal? What would it take for me to be the best Mary Kay consultant in the state, in the region, in the nation? What would it take for me to be the top ranked realtor in my company? What would it take for me to reach people who are struggling with children who have addiction? What would it take? The list goes on and on. Not, I can't help because I don't have time. I can't because it's an excuse that we think is a reason. What would it take? It is possible that when you start making the list, what would it take? As I did in 2014, as I was preparing to make my decision what I was going to do with the rest of my career, the question I asked myself is, what would it take for me to be able to do what I love for people who care? And the answer was so much different than the list of excuses I had made up to that point. The answer was, it would take me getting some more training. It would take me making a plan. It would take me being bold and brave. It would take me being motivated to do something that is so powerful and so impactful that I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about it so much. That's what it takes. What does it take for you to get the change you say you want? I don't want to know why you can't because. What I want to know is, what does it take? Because there is always a way, hear me now, there is always a way to get from here to there. I don't care where you want to go. You go to Google. If you type in right now that you want to go to the Himalayan mountains, it will tell you how to get there. All you need to do is tell it where you are now. You know where you are now. What does it take to get there? I used to feel, and we're wrapping up, I used to feel that my dreams were ambiguous and they were hard to get my brain around, and I didn't allow myself time to put flesh on their bones. I didn't allow myself the opportunity to just really dream in vivid color with detail. I felt like I could never get my brain around what I really wanted. But my dream was like an airport. When I first went to the airport, it was huge. It was intimidating. It felt vast. It was very, very confusing to me. But the more I went to the airport, the more I realized that it had limits. It had boundaries. It could be understood. There were roads that went all around the perimeter. Hi, Jerry Holland. It's good to see you. It had signs that told you where to go. There were places to park. There were places to eat. It could be understood. It was just unfamiliar. My dream was like that. It was unfamiliar, but it could be understood. Your dream is like that. It can be understood. You will never understand it if you don't start asking yourself the question, what does it take? What would it take for me to have my dream? And when you ask yourself that question, you know your action. You know the next step, right? The thing that you need to do next, you are fully resourced to do it. Fully resourced. You will never even know what that next step is. What action should you take if you do not set down that habit of saying, oh, I can't because, and all your focus goes into making the case why you can never have what your heart tells you you want? Or you can ask yourself the question, what would it take? And prime yourself to take action. Our 2020 is going to be incredible. It is going to be amazing. And it will be amazing because we took action. I encourage you to take action. I encourage you to take a look at what is your next step. Realize you have everything you need to take it, and understand that you and we own our growth. Happy 2020. Mwah! God bless you. If this has benefited you, if this video has helped you in any way, I'm so honored and delighted when you share it, and put there in the caption before you send it off the thing that resonated the most for you. Thank you. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Mwah! Goodbye.